Hey everyone, so I've been approached to test out ContactOut, which is a new database tool. And this is my absolute very first time taking a look at this. My very first thought is interesting setup. I like the data. What I'm mostly interested in, does it have my contact info? So I'm going to type in my contact. Do I show up? I do. That's great. Wow, and it has my whole history. It's weird about trucking and transportation because that is not me, but all the rest of this information is incredibly accurate. All right, cool. Let's see if it has my phone number. It does. View my email. It's accurate. All right, so that's good. The first check is good. Let's see what else we got going on here. I'm going to poke around. So when I think about tools, what are the use cases for the tools? Number one, identifying our ideal customer profile. When we look at our ideal customer profile, what we're really saying is who are the individuals that I can reach out to who are most likely to say yes to the offer that we have. And in case you are wondering about our business, we're a white label media buying firm, right? So our job is to help creative firms, strategy firms, general marketing firms excel with expert media buying. So I want to reach CEOs, COOs, and founders and owners of marketing agencies. So let's do a real-time view of who we might reach. So let's delete my name because we checked that off the list. So we have C-suite, CEO. Okay, so this doesn't make much sense to me. So let's do founder general. Okay, location, United States. Company size, let's say 51 to 200 people with revenue at least. I'd like more variability, but let's say $5 million to $50 million. And let's say industry, medical, is there marketing? Marketing and advertising, pretty straightforward. Search. Okay, so according to this, there are 6,348 different profiles of people that I can reach out to who are in the marketing advertising space with these specific parameters. All right, that's pretty interesting. Would I reach out to Damon and John? Absolutely not. Makes absolutely no sense for us. So then the question is, look at people like Heinz Marketing, Matt Heinz. All right, that's cool. Joe Applebaum, I know him. That's good, or at least I've spoken to him. I wonder if this is a data taken off of LinkedIn. It certainly seems to be. So founder and Amplify Social Media, Nils Smith. Okay, Jessica Hawthorne Castro. I met with her as well. Matt Prohaska. I know him. That's very cool. All right. So yeah, I mean, on the surface, this looks really good. So my initial thought is, well, great. This is a great tool to use. The question, what I would need to spend a little bit more time figuring out is the viability of the data that shows up. And that's really important, right? I think the data is probably going to be accurate, but I want to test that. So let's see what else we have in this dashboard. So I can create lists. Okay, what is this? Introducing ContactOut campaigns. One click, adding recipient from LinkedIn, GitHub. Interesting. Find out more. I'll check that stuff out later. I want to do that. Job change. Okay, this is interesting. Find people who have recently changed jobs. That's cool. Yeah, so I mean, on the surface, this makes a lot of sense. So I would put this into the competitive space of Apollo.io, Rocket Reach, Zoom Info, and I can also search for companies. That's pretty cool. So this looks a lot, I gotta say, the way this looks, it looks a lot like the back end of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is interesting. With LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you have people, you have companies, and you have kind of similar search. I'm sure there's some nuance to this, but there's a couple ways I would use this. Number one, I would identify the contact info of people I'd want to reach out to for account-based marketing. That's one component. The second thing is I'd want to use this to capture email addresses and phone numbers of people who I want to reach out to. So here's an interesting use case of this. There's a tool called Lead Forensics. So I'm not going to go into the back end of who visits our site, but what Leak Forensics does is it gives me a list of all the different people who visit my website, and it tells me who they think they are. So which company they work for. And if you have UTM parameters tied back to your website, it helps you understand where people come from. Are people coming in from the remarketing campaign? Are people coming in from your meta campaign? Is it from Google search? And if it is from Google search, which keyword did they look at? So all that is shown in the URL parameter that shows up for lead forensics. So it makes sort of a highly informed guess of the people that are visiting your site. Sometimes it's more accurate than others. Like I looked earlier today and has a company with like 10,000 plus people. So there's no way for me to really identify who that might be. And, that type of company might just be perusing the internet and came across our site. It might not even be someone who actually visited or who actually works for that company, but it happens to be caught up on their IP address. Okay, that's fine. But for smaller companies, which is definitely who are looking to serve companies with at least 11 people to 150 people with $5 million in revenue all the way to $150 million in revenue, it's much easier to understand who our audience is. So what we can do is we can go to LinkedIn, identify who a person is, and then come back to ContactOut to really understand their company info, their audience, like their phone number, their email address, etc. It's a good thing. So let's actually search for Brill Media. I want to see if we come up on this. Search. Yeah, here's the LinkedIn. Good. 13 employees, $2.8 million. They got this wrong, but that's okay. And they also have this wrong as well. But yeah, I mean, if I want to look at industry marketing and advertising, and I want people between $5 and $10 million in revenue, having access to technologies used, that's pretty cool. I think that's an interesting element, but let's see what happens with this. Yeah, Jellyfish, not exactly they might be an agency. I know another company called Jellyfish, like the Female Quotient. That's a company I'd reach out to. Potentially. Marketing professional. All right. So look, my very first thought of this is the very first time I've seen this. I think this is interesting. I think it looks good. I think the environment is very clean. It feels easy to navigate. I also like, one of the things I love about this is how fast it is, because there are other tools that I feel like are very slow to load pages, and that like ruins a train of thought for me. So that's where I'd start. I'm going to continue using this and give you feedback on what it looks like as we move forward and if I like to use it. All right. Thanks.